All right, hello everyone. This is Kill2. I'm with T-Days, and we have a match between Ushra'Khan and Advocated Destruction. Ushra'Khan on your left have fielded two Tengus, one Nighthawk, two Drakes, one Rook, and one Scimitar.
And Advocated Destruction choosing a Nighthawk, Oneros, two Curse, two Ishtar, two Keris, and two Malediction.
And a couple of interesting setups. I don't think we've seen. Having a Nighthawk, two Ishkars, and two Curses. Those are all interesting ships. We haven't seen a ton of carries in this tournament. It kind of looks like they're kind of maybe hoping to run away, let drones kill things, and do a lot of dampening and tracking disrupting, I would think. We'll see how it works because they run into a missile team which shouldn't have trouble with range, but could have trouble with locks if the dampeners are more than just the carries.
We've not really seen that many Ishtars used in the tournament either. This is quite an interesting setup though. Let's just see where it goes.
Yeah, and in case you guys can't tell, based on what you are seeing, though you should be able to, we've got the Ushra'Khan team pretty much at 0. They've warped to the center of the arena, and the Advocated Destruction team have warped pretty far out, probably the maximum range of 50k. In case you haven't been updated on those rule details as well, the way the tournament works is there's a beacon in the center of a special system that's a secret, and the teams are brought to this system, and then they warp to a beacon of their choosing, which is at a different angle to, or I think it's a random beacon actually.
You can choose one of the beacons, but the beacons are scattered around the system. They
Right.
are different angles and things.
So then you warp in at a range you choose between 0 and 50k, and you come in at a direction relative to the center beacon in the arena, and then the arena is 125 kilometer radius and a 250 kilometer diameter, and we have the match underway now.
Yeah, we currently have an Ishtar for Advocated Destruction taking the brunt of the damage from the Ushra'Khan team. Ushra'Khan, their Rook, is taking some shield damage, doesn't look to be in too much danger at the moment. That Ishtar dropping very quickly, getting a couple of rep cycles in from the Oneros, as one of their Keris is also being knocked down. Keris, of course, getting a damping bonus, so they probably came in at range hoping to be able to damp out the DPS.
Yeah, the Ishtar hurting really bad. Obviously, with this matchup, missiles versus, the Ishtar setup, you really need to get them dampened so they can't target as soon as possible. But it looks like at least some of those ships still have locks. I see missiles coming from at least 3, probably the 2 Drakes and the Nighthawk. It looks like they might have those Tengus locked out. But it's not enough to keep that Rook taking damage. He's getting rep from the Scimitar and doing just fine. That Carry's still hurting pretty bad, as well as the Ishtar, despite their Onero support.
Yeah, the Ishtar still holding in there a little bit at the moment, but absolutely no DPS being levelled at the Ushra'Khan team at the moment. There's, they're just sitting there quite happily repping whatever damage has come into that Rook. It's now fine. Ishtar got a couple of rep cycles in again. It's holding in there just, but there it goes. Something. It was one of the Curse.
A couple interesting tidbits about the map. The Oneros still has a lock, which is something interesting. I would think he would have jamming coming from the Rook. And also the Curses, looks like they've brought medium shield repair bots, which is really interesting. And it looks like one of those curses, we're just seeing CCP Claw say that one of the curses was destroyed for a boundary violation. You cannot leave that 100 kilometer distance from the center of the arena.
No, 125, but yeah.
What did I say? 170?
100, yeah.
125.
Yeah, he walked out of the arena, or throughout the arena, and CCP Claw, using his Iron Fist of Justice, has blown it up. Meanwhile, one of the Keris down, the second Keris down for Advocated Destruction. Absolutely no DPS at all going onto the Ushra'Khan team, and they have just a small amount of shield damage on one of their Drakes, a little bit on one of the Rooks. The Scimitar obviously keeping up with that quite happily. The Nighthawk, however, for Advocated Destruction is in armour, which for a Caldari ship is not a good place to be normally, but obviously with the Oneros there, they've decided to armour tank it.
Yeah, that's really bad. He went down that fast. It's really bizarre that he's armor tanked. That's an interesting ship to use in that position. You could probably use, I suppose they want range and a command ship, which is, I guess that's the way you have to go, but still it seems like an interesting bend. I also really don't like the fact that they had repair drones in their Curses to try and keep their Oneros up. I understand that they want to support the logistics ship so they don't lose it right away, but you really, when you're going with a setup like this from range where you're needing to do damage with your drones, the Ishtar's 10 sentry drones really isn't enough to win the match in most cases in this tournament. So I would have damage drones in those Curses for sure, or have something that does damage instead of the Curses.
Yeah, I don't know why you'd bring a Nighthawk over the Armor command ships at this point, because the obviously armor tanking as Nighthawk goes down. Obviously, you want to push the armor bonuses if you're going to be using an Oneros, because obviously the more resistances on the ships that you can get, the better. So I'm not sure at all why they brought that Nighthawk. It's not working out for them at all.
I kind of imagine that something that happens sometimes with these teams, though I haven't actually tried to make one before, is that you start out and you think we want sentry drones and we want an Oneros to support them or something like that, and then you start building on that and you think, well, we need a little E-War, but we still need we need something to support Oneros. Well, we could put repair drones and a curse, and then we sort of accomplish both of those things, and then you think, well, now we need some more damage. Well, we need a command ship, but we can't. I mean, you kind of have this chain of things where you're trying to fill roles and you end up with something a little too disjointed like this. I could be wrong, but that's the way it sort of looks to me, is that they... Oh my god, the studio is falling apart on my head.
Yeah, as we lose one of the maledictions, and the second malediction is probably going to drop very shortly. It looks like Advocate Destruction have decided to attempt to take down the Scimitar. They're not making much headway on any of the other ships, so the Scimitar being the only one that can't be repped remotely other than by drones, it seemed like a sensible idea. Unfortunately, it looks like that has cost them both their interceptors. That Ishtar is not looking particularly good at the moment. He's managed to rep some back, but he's got some nice flames coming out the back as he flies around the arena. The Scimitar are in about half at the moment, half shields. Probably going to survive at this rate because the Ishtar is down.
And this is another interesting trend that we've seen some of in the tournament, is teams starting out shooting at an E-War ship, starting out shooting at a Rook, and then having to switch late in the fight to a logistics ship when they realize that they can't break the Rook under the logistics. And I wonder how often the Rooks are being set up to take a lot of damage, expecting that, and people are not realizing it till too late and having to transfer, or how often they expect to be able to DPS through the logistics and then realize they can't, and maybe they would have done better to start with the logistics. Obviously, that's a big decision that most teams have been facing throughout this tournament.
Yeah, having seen how much damage this single Ishtar has been doing to the Scimitar, I think it was bad call on their part not to shoot it earlier. I don't know whether they were unable to because of the Rook. For whatever reason, the Rook's damps, whatever, those Drakes could have some E-War in their mid-slots. I just don't understand why they managed to get that Scimitar down earlier. As the Oneros goes down for Advocated Destruction, that Ishtar will follow very shortly indeed. And it looks like the Scimitar will survive to the end, but it doesn't matter, because there's no way that Ishtar is going to be able to out-DPS the rest of the Ushra'Khan team.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time, maybe these target switches should happen quicker. Maybe teams are hoping, with something like chance-based ECM controlling a lot of your ability to target, it's possible that you're just hoping for your opening when they miss a few jams, and that's going to be when you break their jamming ship. But I think a lot of the time things don't change as much as they expect, and then slowly they lose DPS, and they'd be better off making a switch early. If the Rook doesn't go down, in the first couple of minutes, think real seriously about switching to a logistics.
Yeah, we're just watching Army of Me at the moment for Advocated Destruction going down. There he goes, no army left at all. And with that, we shall head back to Soundwave.